It is the year 2472, and the Earth has suffered a great calamity. Hundreds of years of popular culture have vanished. Without the sacred films and texts for guidance, civilization is devoid of anything cool. Then, 3 incubation chambers are unearthed, and from within, men from the time of the great blockbusters emerge. Now, through highly interesting conversations, they share invaluable insight about what once was. The movies, the shows, the comics, toys, and books. This is
The Hyperspace.
Podcasting in the 25th century.
Welcome in, podcast pioneer, to the hyperspace.
Space.
Podcasting in the 25th century, the interweb's first and still only podcast. My name is Jared.
And I'm Mike.
Matt, unfortunately, he came down with the tube trots again. And if you listen closely, you can probably hear him. Sounds a lot like that scene from Dumb and Dumber. Oh, yeah.
I heard a rumor that every time Matt gets the trots, Lucasfilm announces another Star Wars project.
Man, and he's had the trots a lot. No, actually, they've slowed down a little bit. They've slowed the roll a little. But, you know, we wish Matt the best. Apparently, he went down to the future 7-Eleven and bought the nutrient paste that was PB&J flavored. And it's not working out too well for him.
I'll tell you something was funny is recently you posted a little video with you and your daughter sampling the Reese's peanut butter and J
Yes.
Reese's cup.
Yes.
And so I go to the, can I say the store name?
Sure.
I mean, they're still around. I mean, even here in the future, the Weigels.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Future Weigels. Yes, of course.
So they have this rewards thing. So every now and then they give a free thing away to their rewards people. And I saw an email from on the app and it said PB&J. And so I thought, oh, they must be doing the Reese's PB&J as a giveaway. And I thought, I'm going to get it and sample it myself.
Okay.
But I just glanced at it briefly. I was like doing something.
Sure.
So when I went back to check it, it was not Reese's PB&J.
Oh.
It was Red Bull PB&J. And I thought, you have got to be joking. Who in the world dreamt that up and thought that was a good idea?
That doesn't sound remotely good.
No, I mean, Red Bull is disgusting anyway.
Sure.
So it's like, what if we made it taste like disgusting and PB&J?
How do we flavor this urine so it tastes even worse? Yes. Man, PB&J. You know what? I'm so morbidly curious about what you just said. There may be a video coming soon. Man. Yeah. Well, it brought to mind the time when you thought that Reese's cups with crushed up potato chips in them.
I swear, I still think that was a thing. I swear, I'm looking that up.
You thought that was the cat's pajamas.
Was that a thing? That was a thing?
Oh, yeah, okay. They put it out because when it came out, there was something on the thread we talked about. And Matt was like, this sounds really weird. I was like, yeah, who would buy this? And you were like, come on, you didn't do this as a kid?
No, seriously. Peanut butter and chips. Yes, I did that.
But not Reese's.
Well, no, but I mean, it's just you're adding chocolate.
No, I don't. Well,
it's like chocolate and peanut butter. You like add to almost everything, and it's like amazing.
Well, I ate the Reese's with the potato chips in it, and
yeah, but the problem with the Reese's and the whatever they're adding is like the same thing with the jelly. It's not like the real thing they're adding. They're adding something that is similar in taste. It's not like they took real potato chips.
I don't know. Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I don't know. That's the mystery.
Food product?
I mean, I think the potato chips are right there.
I think
or like the jelly. The jelly's right there, but it's like they come up with some pseudo substance.
Man, I just imagine
that's similar in taste.
Reese's scientists sitting around like a Frankenstein-looking lab, going, "What can we use instead of potato chips? that tastes like potato
Well,
chip.
I think that's what they do.
We must think of
What
something.
what can we use instead of jelly? Something
Yeah,
that
well,
tastes like jelly.
I don't know. But the PB and J Reese's cup was I don't know, it's kind of a fail for me. I still just kind of prefer the taste of a Reese's cup. If I'm going to eat a Reese's cup, I just like the old school Reese's cup.
I think I think that's right. I think when you mix Reese's, I think if you do it at home, you take Reese's and you mix it with something, it's like better.
Sure.
Like if you
Yeah.
take your Reese's cup and put it in your ice cream, that's going to be delicious.
Sure. But
But if they were to sell Reese's cup ice cream, it's going to taste not right.
Well, because you're like you say, they're packaging something that's not, necessarily fresh but yeah,
But I will say the one thing I do think that they're successful is when they do the M&Ms and they put something new in it. I always like those. Like pretzel, when they put the pretzel.
The pretzel M&Ms were very good.
Caramel M&Ms.
I didn't eat those. I didn't eat those a whole lot. I don't even know if I ever tried them.
They during Easter, I haven't seen them last Easter, but a couple, or was it Halloween? I guess it would have been Halloween. They had the candy corn M&Ms.
Oh,
but it was really just white chocolate in the M&M. It wasn't candy corn. They just called it candy corn.
Okay,
but it was really good. So
I've
had like pecan M&Ms. Those are good. Pumpkin flavored M&Ms. Those are.
I had the almond M&Ms.
They had coconut for a while, which I thought the coconut M&Ms were pretty good.
I've never experienced that. I did like the peanut butter M&Ms that came.
Yeah, I actually think they're better than the Reese's Pieces, to be honest with
you.
I
think you're right. And I remember there was actually a Star Wars tie-in when Revenge of the Sith came out. They had dark chocolate M&Ms.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they were in a purple bag, and it says "Join the Dark Side," and it was a tie-in for Episode 3, and it was dark chocolate M&Ms, and I really like those.
I actually like the coffee flavored M&Ms, and I don't really like coffee, but I think the coffee flavored M&Ms tastes pretty good.
I don't know if I've ever had those. Man, there's so many flavors.
Oh my gosh, there's been so many different. So they could probably do a coffee table book.
Oh yeah.
With all
what else?
M&M flavors.
While we're on this subject, it's interesting. The sometimes me and Hannah will go to this store called World Market, where it's a really strange store. I think it's a chain. I think it's pretty much everywhere. But they sell everything from like clothing to furniture to like exotic foods from other countries. And we always go to the food section, and there must be 9,000 different varieties of Kit Kats.
Oh, for real?
Yes. And one thing I'm always looking for, because I know it exists, is wasabi Kit Kats.
Are you serious?
Yes. They're from Japan.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yes.
Because that's like the new thing now. You go to like any of those like entertainment stores or collectible stores, there are just tons of like Japanese chips flavored. Like our neighbors brought over like shrimp flavored chips.
Yeah, those are weird.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Are your neighbors Japanese?
No, they are not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I guess they just bought them. They didn't like them, so they brought them over here, hoping we.
They're like, here, the Doyles will eat this crap. But yeah. So I actually, my daughter and I are going to this store tomorrow after she gets out of school, and we're going to walk around. And I might, if I see some exotic Kit Kats, I'll send you a picture.
Well, speaking of candy. So for a while, I knuckled down on my candy intake.
Yes.
To cut down on my sugar intake. So I've decided I have a little more self-control now.
Uh-huh.
So I decided I was something I used to eat all the time, or the remember the Farropan atomic fireballs?
Yes.
I ate those all the time. So I kind of had a craving, and I thought, I could probably have like one a day. I can control myself enough to So I was gonna buy some,
Uh-huh.
and I can't find them anywhere. Like
You can't
nowhere.
find like the fireballs that are cellophane wrapped.
Yes, the Farrakhan ones, not crappy generic knockoff. That
Okay.
is not. There's a candy store in the mall, and I
They
went
have
in
like
there
yeah.
and I asked him, I said, "Do you have the Farrakhan atomic fireballs?" He goes, like, "No." He goes, "I got one package in, and some guy came in and bought the whole thing."
Yeah.
So apparently these things are like rare now.
Well, yeah, they could be relegated to the old you have to look in Cracker Barrel. You know, Cracker Barrel's always got
They don't
those.
have them anymore. They used to sell them in the jar,
Wow.
but now they sell like the crappy knockoff ones. I don't understand. And I went to the Farrakhan website, and they still have them
They still
like listed as something that they make.
well, did you look on Amazon?
I did, and they are being sold, but I feel like there's people who have bought them and are reselling them.
Oh.
So that's kind of like a last resort. There's a new candy shop that opened up here in Powell, and I was going to check them out and see if they had it.
Yeah, that's weird. You might just have to start looking at those like specialty shops.
But
Yeah,
they
I'm
used to be
looking.
everywhere, man.
Yeah, just like the atomic fireballs, the individually wrapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
You buy them for like a nickel each.
And they're about the size of a gumball.
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't find them. They're just nowhere to be found. When we went to Missouri, every gas station we stopped at, I went and to see if I could find them, and no one had them.
Wow.
So if there's any listeners who have them and want to send them to your old friend Mike, care of the hyperspace,
the hyperspace into the time portal future. Yes. Wow, man. Wow. So that's holy cow. We've talked about candy for 12 minutes. It's pretty crazy. You know, back in January, as is measured in the old calendar, I started to sort of try to take my fitness in hand, and I hired a personal trainer.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
was
I'm
his
down.
name Tony Little?
No. No, it's not Tony. It is it is a virtual type situation, but every day.
Good job, Jared.
No,
How
he's
are
an
you?
actual. I actually talked to him. He's an actual person, but he sends me daily workouts. He monitors. I use the. It's very similar to Lose It. It's the MyFitnessPal app, and I track my nutrition through there. But I'm down 13 pounds since January.
Oh wow, nice.
And I do daily, like he doesn't ever give me a day off. Like every day I'm doing like 25-minute workouts, and they alternate.
What kind of workouts are they?
It goes between like dumbbell or body weight. And I do like top one day, bottom the next day, alternate,
upper,
and then
lower.
And then the weekends are stretch. That's kind of, he does give me the weekends off too. They're stretch days, and he gives me like a 15-minute stretch routine to do. But I really like it. And I'm also trying to walk about 45 minutes a day.
Yeah, walking is so unbelievably helpful. Years ago, before like Jared mentioned the Lose It app, and I lost about 40 pounds.
Yes, you
using
did.
that. And
that was during your dark times.
Yeah, the dark times. And it's something that it becomes like a lifestyle change. Like once you do that, it's like you're always thinking like, oh, can I eat that? Should I eat that? Like, well, if I eat this, or if I cut back on this later, I can have that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but even before that, like years, I would say probably like in 2010 or 11 or something like that, I noticed I'd get out of bed and I would just be super stiff. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm already feeling old. Well, I just started walking. And man, I tell you, just walking makes a huge difference. I mean, I didn't lose any weight, but I'd get up in the morning and I'd feel fine. I wouldn't feel like a crusty old man. So
no, it's good.
You cannot underestimate the power of walking.
Yeah. And I had a physical about 3 weeks ago, and my blood work, and I get my blood work done twice a year, and just from 6 months ago, my blood work, my doctor said it looked like a different person.
Oh, really?
Like
Wow.
my
That's awesome.
triglycerides were the lowest they've been since 2020, which triglycerides are bad, right? I mean, that's the stuff that'll eventually kill you. It comes from eating crappy, greasy red meat and all that, but they were the lowest since in 5 years. And so,
So what's the
man,
big thing that you've had to cut back on?
well, the thing with my trainer's name is Matt, and
It's not like Matt with a fake mustache, is it?
No, and it's not Matt. Yeah, it's not our co-host who has the trots. As a matter of fact, I can still hear it in the distance. Yes, no, he said he's about what they call it's flexible eating, which is pretty much eat whatever you want, stay within your calorie count.
Yep.
And if you go over one day, just go less the
Cut
next
back
day.
the next day. Yep.
So he's like, you can still, I told him, once a week, me and Terry go out to eat. He's like, great, continue to go out to eat and eat what you would get normally. And, if that pushes you over your calories, then just take it easy the next day. And that's something I can live with. Like, I can't, people who do keto and all that stuff. I mean, I can't just eat cheese and hamburgers all the time. I mean, that's probably not good for you in the long run, just eating steak and just eggs and just protein all the time. I've tried that. It doesn't work for me. I mean, I did lose some weight on it about 10 years ago. Me and Terry did the South Beach diet, which is very low carb, high protein, lots of greens, but you just can't. It's tough for me to stick to anything.
Well, the thing about, because the way I did was almost purely watching my calories. I went down to like 1,700 calories a day, and you're supposed to do about 2,000.
Yeah.
And I tried to walk 30 minutes a day. But I've noticed is when you cut back on the calories, you cut back on the filler food that you don't need. Like a big thing for me was candy. I used to, me, I used to eat candy all the time.
You had candy everywhere.
And it's just, that's calories.
It's just empty.
I tell you another thing too, I would eat at night was when I'd watch something, I'd have like cereal in a cup, but I'd have like a big, huge cup. And sometimes I would have 2 cups. And that's probably my calorie intake for the day.
So you're probably eating about 900 calories worth of cereal. Yeah. Because, a serving of cereal is 1 cup. A measured cup. And, that's not a lot. So
no, it really isn't.
No, and it amazes me still that when I pour a bowl of cereal, I'm like, this is probably 3 servings. Good grief, what is this?
Yeah, and plus it's got all that sugar. Sugar's the killer. I mean, it's really the killer.
Yeah.
And two, the thing is, I'll tell you another thing that kills you is the sides. Like if you get a meal, make sure your sides are like one thing I get now is coleslaw. Believe it or not, coleslaw isn't really that bad.
Yeah.
Calorie wise.
It's just
it's got mayonnaise in it.
Cabbage and mayo.
Yeah. And I've grown to really like it. And so I can get like a burger, and then there's this place we go to. They have this thing called bean salad. It's like white beans with cilantro, salt, and onion. Oh man, it's so delicious. Man, so I get that instead of French fries. Because when they give you French fries, they give you like a whole freaking basket full of fries, and that's so terrible for you.
And I bet your family loves it when you get the beans.
Well, no, the way we work it, actually, if we each get a plate, only one person gets fries because they gave you, because my family does not eat a lot of French fries.
Okay.
So one person will get fries that everyone shares.
Sure.
And then everyone else, me and the other 2 people will get the bean salad, because I'll eat the bean salad and take the rest home.
Yeah.
So it works out great. And they never finish even just one thing of fries. So it's just like strategizing.
Well, there you go. That's good. You sort of know what you're getting before you go into it.
That's another thing too. Yeah. anytime I go somewhere to eat, I'm already thinking, okay, what can I get?
Yeah.
Or if I know I'm going to have lunch with friends,
Mhm.
you know, I'll have a light breakfast. But I always eat. Another thing too is you got to eat at least 3 meals a day, because that keeps your metabolism going. And even if you snack lightly between those meals, if you're hungry, that helps keep your metabolism going too.
Yes, and helps with cravings as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
So there's our that's the
our
health segment.
the first 10 minutes was about candy. The second 10 was about fitness and personal training and staying fit. But hey, I got to.
We are not licensed nutritionists.
Do not take anything we say seriously. As a matter of fact, go out and eat slop, because we don't know what's good. Yeah, I'm going to kind of bring it back to what the hyperspace is known for here. A few years back, I talked on this show about starting to collect Conan the Barbarian comics.
Crush your enemies.
And I told the story about how I saw Conan #1 up on the wall in Comics Incorporated way back in the day. And it was like $50. And to me, that was the unattainable, holy grail of comics for some reason. I was like, holy cow, $50 for a comic book? That seemed outrageous. Well, fast forward to 2021-ish, and I have disposable income, and I saw this comic on eBay, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get Conan #1. Well, that soon turned into a sickness, where I bought Conan #2 and Conan #3. And I bought them in order all the way up through like issue 15. I was like, okay, 15, that's a good place to stop. Well, that didn't happen. And I started to just look for Conan books every time I would go to a comic book shop. And now I can say, as of probably January of this year, I have completed the first Marvel run of Conan the Barbarian comics.
How many issues is that?
275.
Wow. I have all those digitally.
Yes, I know you do. And I went ahead for just the heck of it, and I bought the entire run of Conan the King.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, those were much easier to come by, and they were a much less of an investment.
Are you going to go for the Savage Sword of Conan?
No, that's the magazine. No, I think I'm going to stop here. I think Conan the King and Conan the Barbarian is, now that I have all of them, and I think I'm gonna stop. The last one I bought, I actually made a mistake and bought twice, because let me tell you about some of these eBay poacher people. The last issue I needed was a fairly expensive issue. It was Conan the Barbarian 23, and it was the first appearance of Red Sonja. So this comic runs anywhere from $80 to $120. And I was like, okay, well, this is the last one I need. And I found it online for $75. I was like, for that book, that's a great price. So I clicked buy it now, and I got the book. But like a minute later, and this is how I know this was some sort of coordinated thing, I got an email saying, the book is almost yours. Click now to buy it. And it was Conan the Barbarian 23, same price. I was like, what is this? And I thought I had bought it, but I clicked the link thinking it was the same one I had bid on, and it was there unpurchased. So I clicked buy it now. It's like, okay, well, I thought
so you bought it twice.
I bought two of them.
How'd that happen?
That's because I swear to you, some people, especially, I think this could be specific to comic sellers. They're watching these auctions, and when somebody makes a purchase on a certain book, somehow these people they'll if they're selling the same thing, they'll go in right after you buy it and say, "Hey, don't miss out on this. Buy it now."
Oh, they make an offer.
Yes, yes.
Did you
It was
report it? I would have reported that.
no. I bought 2 of them.
I would have canceled it.
I didn't because I didn't even know what had happened. I didn't even really figure it out until like 2 days later because I was like, "What is this?" But then I thought, well, now I've got 2 of these, and I got the book was both books were delivered to me, so now I have 2 issues of Conan the Barbarian 23.
Are you gonna try to sell one?
Yes, because what I want one comic I want right now is the Punisher #1, the miniseries from 1986.
Right. Yeah.
Because I have 2 through 5. I have the whole miniseries except for that first issue, and it's the cover of like the
Yeah.
posters that I got.
Right.
And what I'm wanting to do is get that whole 5-issue miniseries and put them in these nice holders that you can like hang on your wall, and I'll hang all 5 of those above the 2 Punisher posters I have, and I think it'll just display nicely. But so, and Punisher #1 runs anywhere from $50 to $100 depending on the condition. So I can sell this. I'm going to sell this this Conan 23 and do that. So, and the one other thing that happened, this is a G.I. Joe update.
Yo, Joe!
I completed the Marvel run of G.I. Joe 1 through 155. Got them all. And that was not cheap. I'm not going to speak out loud. What? No, I got the problem with G.I. Joe is the later issues as it went through 155. And from like 130 on, it was a much lower print run because it was
People weren't buying them.
Yeah, it was a series that was running out of gas. So it was a lower print run. And now on the secondary market, obviously those books are going for a premium. You know, it was a combination of how I came across these books from I'm going to give a shout out to Urban Legends Comics of Brandon, Florida, who this guy's shop, his name is Greg. He has the best comic shop in Tampa Bay, 100%. As far as, and all he does is back issues. He doesn't get new comics in. He doesn't sell toys or anything like that. It's strictly just old comic books. And it's a great shop that he has. And actually put his shop on the Hyperspace YouTube channel not too long ago. So check out that video because he let me go in there and record. But he found a lot of those hard to find later issues for me and cut me a pretty decent deal on them. And then I found the last G.I. Joe I needed was the last issue, 155. And I found it on eBay for under $100, which is a crazy good price.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so I have those. And now I'm going through the IDW run because Larry Hama continued A Real American Hero.
Oh, so you're going to continue getting those as well?
I'm buying the new Image comics too because they picked up after IDW, and it's Larry Hama, and he's just he's written this comic since 1982, and he's still writing it.
Yeah, the story was they gave it to him because he had been in the military?
Yeah, he's a Vietnam veteran.
He was like basically like a fill-in writer, and they're like, we got this thing, G.I. Joe, who wants it? You were in the military, you take it. Yeah.
And so I think it's really cool that he's continued to work on this book. I mean, he did there were many years that, you know, they stopped printing the book in 94, 95, and he didn't pick it back up until like 2008. with IDW, and then he did 150 issues with them, and now he's on to the Image books, and I'm getting those as they come out. So I'm enjoying it. I'm almost finished reading rereading the Marvel run from. I'm on like issue 145 now, and I'm going to continue to read the IDW books and catch up eventually to the Image books, but I'm reading those digitally. It's just the weird comic book collector thing where I'll buy these things and put them in a box and not look at them for a year and a half, and then just read them digitally. And then, but
well, that's the advantage of the digital versions now.
yeah, I mean, you can just.
Well, I was just gonna say, I've been reading the G.I. Joe run, but I've like recently started rereading a bunch of comics. I started comics I always wanted to read and never got to it, and comics I have read, I'm reading them again.
Yeah.
And I'm just going through. I have like I don't know, like 20 different books I'm going through. Yeah. I'm reading Batman. I'm starting from the very first Detective Comics.
Oh, wow. From the 1930s?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is I'm doing it very leisurely, so I'm not like in a hurry to get through the books.
Sure.
But one thing I've started reading, I've kind of gotten into, is the anthology comics, like, you know, the Tales from the Crypt stuff, but also DC had a bunch of really cool anthology series. And then I'm finding some even older ones from like the 40s and the 50s. So I've started kind of downloading all these old anthology comics, and I'm kind of like started reading those as well. But you know, I'm reading G.I. Joe. I think I'm on issue like, I don't know, 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
Transformers, I started rereading that. And what else am I reading?
Are you still reading? Are you still up on the new Energon universe comics?
No, I kind of fell off. It was just too much, and plus it was just kind of, I don't know. So I thought it was a little dark for me.
Yeah, they're a little more adult in nature, but I'm enjoying.
I think the episode with Cobra Commander when the dreadnoughts
with the chainsaws.
Yeah, I was like, oof, this is a little much. Because my favorite thing about the Marvel G.I. Joes is that the whole idea that Larry Hama came up with is Cobra. The way Cobra started was basically Amway.
Yes, like a pyramid.
Yeah, and if you watched, if you grew up in the 80s, you know what that is. Like Amway was a pretty big deal back then. And I love that that's how Cobra started. It was just like an Amway, a pyramid scheme that everyone got sucked into, and they were Cobra.
Yeah, and they just turned into this military force with massive hardware, and
it's completely ridiculous. But I mean, I don't know, I like it. I started rereading Swamp Thing because I always was read Swamp Thing, and Conan. I've been reading Conan.
Yeah.
Plus, the interesting thing I like about the comics of Conan is he's basically, he's an anti-hero.
Yes,
for sure. But he's like, all he wants to do is fight.
That's true.
I mean, it's just, who am I going to fight? Can I fight you? Oh, we're friends now. Okay, we won't fight.
Yeah, and when he's like this mercenary though too, because people are like, "Where is the Sumerian? Bring him in here." Yes.
And there's actually kind of a mythology to it that they have.
Yes.
So far, I'm digging it. I'm sticking with it. I like. I'm enjoying it. I've started reading Punisher too. That was a book I've always wanted to read.
Was it? Did you start with the miniseries?
No, actually, I'm starting in chronological order.
Oh, so you're going back to his Spider-Man appearance.
Well, I'm actually reading the Nom books he appeared in.
Oh, that's true. That's another series that I'm buying.
But I'll tell you what, I read there was he was in the Nom twice.
Yes.
And I read the first two. There was a 2-issue storyline. And it was like really good. I was like, it was like he was going after this Vietnamese sniper, who they kind of explained why he used the skull as an emblem. Okay. But it was a really good story, and I was like, man, this was really good. I was like, so like I said, because I'm reading all these titles, it's taken me forever to get to the next issue. So,
well, that's okay. I mean, like you said, I mean, well, let me tell you something. If you started on Detective Comics 27, you're not going to make it out of that alive because
Well,
you've,
especially because
you've got about 1,000 issues to go.
well, the Batman issues, when they started the Batman issues,
Mhm.
and this was true for a lot of the comics back in the 40s, is these were like big, thick comics.
Yeah.
Like the first few issues, I don't know how long it goes, but like I'm on issue like 6 or 7 of Batman,
Uh-huh.
and each issue is like 60 pages.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
like
You
it's a
got your
bunch of
money's
short
worth.
stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've started reading Sergeant Rock because that was like a
Okay.
comic I'd always wanted to read.
Nice.
So I've started reading some of those World War II comic anthology stories.
Okay.
They're kind of interesting. There's like a letters page, and the letters page, and here's the thing too, is like these writers of these books were like veterans of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So they know what they're talking about when they write these stories.
Yeah.
And the letters column is like people ask them questions about stuff, military stuff, like about
Uh-huh.
guns and planes and stuff like that. So I'm actually kind of like learning stuff reading
Oh,
the
nice.
letters pages.
That's fascinating. I love that old
And
stuff.
Gru, I've started rereading
Yes.
Gru. I really love Gru. That's one I've always really
Rue the
loved.
Wanderer. Well, the one comic that I started was because I'm going back and watching the show, The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, okay.
So I went back to I found like this Treasury edition, which reprints like the first 10 issues or something. And those comics, like you were talking about, are broken into like these big chapters. Like,
Yeah, that was
you'll
like
read and it'll be like chapter 2. And,
like
each
serials.
book, yeah. But each book has like 4 or 5 episodes in it. And those are pretty fascinating. And like I didn't realize that when the Hulk first started, he only turned into the Hulk at night,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
werewolf.
Well,
And he's like,
go ahead.
no, that's fine. I'm done.
Well, I was going to say when I actually read him when McFarlane was the artist for a few
Uh-huh.
for a little bit when Peter David was writing,
Yeah,
and Peter David made him Gray Hulk, and it was the same thing. He would change at night.
at
He
night.
actually,
Yeah.
he kind of threw back to that.
Well, he was gray in the first issue, but
I think they changed it because it was cheaper to make him green.
it was because by issue 2 he's green.
Yeah.
They switched it like right away, and that's what Stan Lee said. I watched on the Blu-ray set that I have. Kenneth Johnson says that Stan Lee said the reason he was green is because green was easy to an easy ink to come by,
Right.
and that gray was harder and it didn't read as well on a page, because Kenneth Johnson wanted to make the Hulk red.
Really?
Because he said red signifies rage, but Marvel wouldn't let him do that because he's like, what? Well, I want to, I think he should be red because he becomes enraged and changes to the Hulk. And then why is he green? And then Kenneth Johnson said Stan Lee told him, well, you see why he's green is because the ink is easier to come by. And he's like, and then, Kenneth Johnson, it's funny listening to him about the show. He really hated comic books.
Oh, really?
Like the reason he changed the name from Bruce to David.
He didn't think it was
well, no, the rumor that's out there is that because Bruce was a gay name.
That's what I'd always heard. It wasn't masculine.
Yeah, and it was like, only gay guys are named Bruce. Kenneth Johnson said the reason was he hated the kind of alliteration of comic book characters being Bruce Banner, Peter Parker, Lois Lane, Clark Kent. He said it was a trope that he despised. So he called Bill Bixby David Banner. And of course, in the credits of the show on his gravestone, it says David Bruce Banner. So they still incorporate the Bruce, but he's called David in the show. And didn't you watch that show about 10 years ago?
I started it, but I didn't follow through. I only watched the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I'm almost through with the first season, and it's
The
something else.
the first few episodes were a little. I remember being a little rough.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
wasn't the episode where he lands the plane half Hulk, half David in like one of the first? I remember that one,
yes,
and that was like very bizarre.
and so what they do, and this is infamous because of the Duel episode, the one that where they take footage from Duel and basically create an
Oh
episode
yeah,
around
yeah,
it, and
yeah,
Spielberg got all pissed off,
yeah.
and so
Rightly so.
that changed the rules forever about how you could use footage like that. But they do it so far they've done it 3 times in the first season. Like that airplane episode took footage from Airport 77.
Oh no.
And then there was an episode about an earthquake that just ripped all its footage from the earthquake movie.
Oh no.
And so, and then of course the Duel episode. And so all they're doing, because all these pictures are Universal movies,
Right.
and Universal is making the show, so they're just like, well, hey, we can just take whatever we want. We got all this stock footage here. Let's just build an episode around this, and it'll look bigger and more impressive. But it's incredibly obvious when you're watching it that it's like, oh man, like the Duel episode, they go to these lengths to try to make, like, in a lot of the long shots in Duel, you just see, Dennis Weaver driving his car away from the truck. Well, if there's 2 people in the car, they always have to have the other person start to lean down in the close up.
My God.
So you don't see them in the long shot. They're like, they'll be like, get down. They're trying to shoot at us. And so it's just,
Oh
man, it's really, but I'm having fun watching it.
Well, when I think of the first episode, this is going to sound probably a little pervy.
Oh no, I know where you're going. I know exactly what you're going to say because you've said it before.
And what was funny is because I was watching it with my brother. It was because he lived with us for a little short time when he moved up to Tennessee. So we were watching these Incredible Hulk episodes. So we watched the actress. I think her name is Susan Purcell. Is that her name?
Something like that.
Who I think is she's a very pretty woman.
Yes.
And she's wearing this shirt. And I swear, aside from the pockets on the front,
it's sheer.
I think it's sheer. So we're both watching this episode, and my brother goes, "Is that shirt see-through?" So that, of course, every time we're like trying to figure out, is that a see-through shirt? I mean, why would she be wearing that?
The pockets are not see-through, and they are literally breast pockets.
Yes,
they're
covering,
right on top of them.
Like in the real world situation, if you were working with I had a coworker who looked like her and came in one day wearing a shirt like that, I'd be like, I'm not getting anything done. You're gonna you're gonna have to change.
Yeah, what put a jacket on or something. Man. Yeah, it's totally strange. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because so whenever I think of the first episode, that's what I think about.
Yes. And then the show basically turns into The Fugitive because he's just running. He gets in, something happens and it makes him turn into the Hulk and
halfway through the
day.
episode.
Yes. And then he has to run off. And it's so funny too, on Blu-ray, it's exceedingly obvious that in most of the exterior shots with the Hulk, Lou Ferrigno is wearing green slippers.
Oh, I've seen that. I remember seeing that.
Yes.
When he's running down the street, you can see his little slip-ons.
Yeah. Yes. He has little slip-on shoes, and it's so obvious. And it probably wouldn't have been, back in the day, like when you're watching this on a 19-inch screen, but, yeah, I'm kind of having a blast watching it, and that's what made me sort of want to just go back to the beginning. And I've done that with a lot of the Marvel stuff. Like I went back and read the first couple of Thor issues, Journey into Mystery, and the first few Iron Mans, just to see, because everybody's so familiar with their MCU iterations, and I'm kind of curious about I kind of want to know how it began. Because I did not read those books when I was a kid. And now I'm kind of fascinated to go back to the beginning and look at those. And there's a charm, too. to those old Marvel books. I mean, I did the same with Daredevil when the first Netflix show came out. I went back and read a lot of the early Daredevil books. And it's an interesting experience to go back, especially when we're used to the modern versions of these characters, to go and look at that, see where they came from.
Well,
Speaking of which, are you up on Daredevil?
Yeah. Well, I guess
Okay.
tonight there's an episode tonight. So
Yes, there
I
is.
don't watch that.
Are you still enjoying it so far?
Yeah. I tell you one thing that's really one thing I don't like, and you're probably gonna be able to guess what this is. Man,
The
you never
swearing?
thought that for them to start dropping F-bombs left and right, they'd have to wait until they got on Disney Plus to do it.
Yeah.
Because it kind of takes me out of it because that wasn't in the Netflix show. I don't even know if they used it once. They might have once.
Yeah, just used it like a PG-13. You get one of these.
Yeah, but in Disney Plus show, it's like nonstop. It's kind of like,
Well, especially
is this
with
necessary?
when they had that Irish guy,
Oh
the bank
gosh,
robber.
it was terrible. So,
Well, but I mean, are you enjoying the episodes besides
aside from that? I mean, I think it's really good. I really
did you like that? Did you like that scene with him and Frank? I thought that was pretty great when he was.
The only thing that bothered me about it is how did he find him?
Well, yeah, he just walks down to this.
He's like, did he smell him? Like, oh, I smell Frank Castle. I mean, that was the only thing that bothered me. Like, how the heck did he know he was here?
Yeah,
but I did like the scene. I like the journey that the characters are on. I really love the parallel between Kingpin and Matthew Murdock.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot. I think it's like the best thing I've seen on Disney Plus, hands down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I liked the this past, spoiler alert, the past episode. Where Kingpin is eating alone. And he knows that, and he's just like, will you call Vanessa and see if she wants?
Yeah, that was a great twist. That was a little unexpected. Well, did that not look like the restaurant Adrian's from Rocky?
Yeah, I guess so, a little bit.
Because we were watching it, and they show him sitting there, and they do the pan across the restaurant. There's a bar there in the exact same place the bar is.
Yeah,
and then there's the door, and then the station where they seat you. And I said, that looks like the restaurant from Rocky. And David said, I was going to say the same thing.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure it's not, but I swear it looks like. Speaking of which, wasn't Carl Weathers on an episode of Incredible Hulk?
Probably. I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, he's on the Incredible Hulk.
Well, I do know. I sent you and Matt a picture of Martin Cove. He was in like the third episode. John Kreese. He was in the third episode as a boxer named Rocky.
Oh wow! I wonder where they got that idea.
No, of course it was. Yeah, there's this episode would have aired about the same time of Rocky 2. So I mean. Martin Cove was he was putting on this terrible Italian accent. It just did not work.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like if I was to rewatch the Hulk, it wouldn't hold up.
Well, I don't know. I'm having fun with it, and a lot of it doesn't hold up, but there's some good stuff.
There was one episode where, like, I'll tell you another thing too. Especially. Like you say, Martin Cove, but like there's I think there's an episode. There's this girl that was pregnant that he was trying to help. She was on V. Like there's so many people from V on that show because Kenneth Johnson worked with them.
Yes,
and it's like kind of like a who's who. But
I think I know the episode you're talking about.
I think it was the last one I watched.
It had the guy from Dirty Harry. The bad guy from Dirty Harry was a doctor who's doing all these crazy experiments. He later played Garrick the Cardassian on Deep Space Nine. Andrew Robinson is his name.
Oh yeah, he was the villain in Dirty Harry.
Yes, the Dirty Harry guy. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say real quick. Speaking of Kenneth Johnson, is years ago when the V original miniseries V DVD came out, he did a commentary for it, and at the end of he did a great commentary for it. It was a really fascinating commentary. And he, at the end, he goes, hey, if you want to talk to me, here's my email address. So I emailed him and told him how much I really enjoyed the show. And he responded to me.
Yeah, you remember you telling me that.
He was really cool. He's really nice. But I still think the original V miniseries is terrific. There's a girl I work with, and I let her borrow it, and she said she really didn't have any interest in it because it was sci-fi, but she watched it and she's like, "Oh man, this is like really good." I mean, it was like a really good story with the characters and everything.
I remember. Have they put that out like on Blu-ray?
Yeah, they're both out on Blu-ray, but
okay.
I'm not sure what kind of transfers they are.
I remember I borrowed those from you when we lived in Nashville. The first miniseries, and then
the final battle.
And then I made it through the entire TV series as well.
TV series. Woof. Man, you watch a show where budget shrinks. I mean, that's you can just watch the money. You can see them taking apart the sets in camera.
Yeah, they're like, what's going on? Do you want to get out of here? We're trying to close up shop here.
There was a spaceship here, but now it's just some struts. I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
Man. And then that awful, in the last episode, the fight in the mothership bridge. And like clearly the guy who was in Khan was in it.
Yes. What's his name? Dang it.
But he was,
he played
stunt double was wearing
Joaquin.
A wig.
Yes.
He was in Blade.
Was that guy in Blade?
Yes, he was in Blade.
The last thing I remember him being in was the X-Files. He was in some of the later seasons where like Mulder had been abducted, and
I remember that.
Yeah,
he had an unusual. Well, I don't want to say unusual. He had a striking face.
Yeah.
I was going to mention one more thing I'm doing, and then probably should start wrapping it up.
Okay, what's that?
Over the years, I've been collecting those Tolkien Middle Earth books that, and I wanted the exact same edition so that they all matched.
Yes.
And I bought a concordance. And anyway, so I reread The Hobbit because my son started reading it. And I bought a copy of the annotated Hobbit.
Okay.
So I've been reading that, and it actually referenced letters of Tolkien, Tolkien the artist, and then his biography. So I've been reading this annotated Hobbit, but it'll say letter number 613. So then I'll get like the letters book, and I'll go to like letter number 613 and read. It's like I'm studying.
Sure.
Tolkien. Anyway, that's what I've been doing, but it's kind of cool.
Well, that's good. I think my dad did something similar back during COVID.
And I bought this 3-book set. Companion, and chronologically of Tolkien, and it was not cheap. 3 hardback books.
Yeah,
but anyway, I'm really enjoying it. Actually, reading some insight into him and just reading his letters, and he had a pretty good sense of humor about himself. But the thing that's interesting that he says is, first of all, he was a language nut. I mean, I kind of knew this about him.
Yeah.
But he talks about languages like we talk about like our favorite movies.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, the Welsh language is beautiful, and I base such and such. It's really fascinating. It all stems from when he was little. His parents died when he was very young. He was an orphan. He wrote a story called The Green Great Dragon. And his mother said, it's not green great, it's great green dragon. And that kind of like got him.
That's like, he was fascinated on why that was.
Yeah, he goes, I didn't understand that. So anyway, that was sort of his launching point for being interested in language. But anyway, it's he says over and over, because people like try to like, well, Lord of the Rings represents, Christianity, or it represents World War I. And he says over and over again in his letters, it was just a story I wrote.
Yeah. He's not a fan of allegory.
No. And he says to a letter to someone, goes like, I identify as a Christian, but this is not based on any Christian book, any sort of Christian theology. It's just based on stories.
The story that I wanted to.
You know, he's like, it wouldn't have made sense to have these characters be Christians in these stories. It wouldn't have made any sense. And so it's just interesting how people always try to like write these, like, well, you know, this represents blah blah blah, and that represents blah. And he's like, he says over and over, I was just writing a story.
Correct. I mean, but I mean, of course, the writers of Rings of Power could really show him something. And when David was reading The Hobbit, was he like, "Hey, where's Legolas?"
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Okay. Well, before we go, and now that I have, I got one more thing. You sparked something.
It's very heavy. Whatever.
Yeah, I bought these off our friend Mark. He was selling them, and it is
Tally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a matching set, but these are the.
Oh. Are they original?
No, these are printed, but these are from I think 2012. But he bought them. Mark bought this set when he was in Ireland, so you know they've got like £1 for a price tag on the back.
Oh wow!
And most importantly for me is that these are not the sanitized for modern audience version of these books.
I did not know there was such a thing.
Yes. The people printing the Bond books now, because James Bond definitely is a product of his time. And he does things and says things that you probably wouldn't say today. But the people printing those books now have decided to, do some revisionist history. And
I did not know that.
That kind of thing bugs me. That's why I was asking you to find those books for me at McKay's, because, I wanted the original unfiltered texts. And these books are those. This is before, people became obsessed with such things. And, but yeah, man, this, they all have, of course, the matching, and it's all Fleming's books. It's just the Fleming books. It's not, any of the stuff that came after, but
right.
It's really cool. And I'm still going to be looking for those older paperbacks.
Do they make a note? Do they put anything on the copies? Like these have been altered or anything?
Yeah,
like
I believe
that?
they do.
I think that's so lame because it's like, it's like,
because, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I really think that shows an arrogance on modern editors / writers. Like you're saying, well, we're smarter than the writer, so we have to fix it.
Yes. And that kind of thing is absolutely crazy to me.
It's disrespectful.
If you can't understand that something was a product of when it was written. And yes, look, there are things that are said in these books that I would not go around saying. But that doesn't mean that the original text of these books have no value. Because I think it's interesting precisely because they're a product of their time.
Right. How do you know where you've come from if you don't know where you've been?
Sure. And now, I follow the official Ian Fleming Facebook page. And every time they put a book up there or something, like they just get completely roasted. They've actually probably stopped posting a lot because every time they post something, they just get,
they get roasted for what?
Well, is this one going to have bad words in it? Is this the sanitized?
Wait, now somebody comments that?
Oh yeah, like whenever the official Ian Fleming page like promotes a book or promotes a particular collection or a reprint, they just get lit up in the comments, and it's hilarious.
By the fans?
By the fans, yeah. They're like,
they're not happy about the edits.
Correct. They're
okay.
Are you going to let us read the original, or is this the mommy and daddy sanitized version?
Oh yeah, fans hate that crap.
So, anyway, what you said about your
it's
Lord
like
of the Rings.
Well, I think what's funny about Rings of Power, because they're so stupid, they don't see what they do. Like Rings of Power, they have like multi-raced hobbits.
Yes.
But when you get to the movies, they're all white. So to me, the insinuation is the hobbits had a race war and the white ones won.
Well, my dad, being the Tolkien nerd that he is, he's like, look, he's telling me these things that I wouldn't know. He would probably you and him could probably have a good conversation about it. But he's like, they're compressing time and moving things around in the Second Age. That he's
thing, probably more familiar with this than me at this point, because it's been a while since I've read that stuff.
Okay,
and it sounds like your dad is probably way more knowledgeable on that than I would be.
But he's pretty magnanimous. He likes to watch the show for like the battles and stuff, which admittedly I did watch all of season 2, and the last episode, I mean, they're definitely putting the money on the screen. I mean, it looks good. But he is saying, look, he goes, I just look because it looks cool. But he goes, I know that the story they're telling doesn't really make sense because they're bringing, Gandalf into it, and this is all happening in a compressed or amount of time. And he goes, this shouldn't be happening. He's like watching you. This actually shouldn't be happening for another 300 years. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay.
Now at this point, at this point, I feel like, why did you call it Lord of the Rings? Why didn't you just create a whole fresh
make your own?
When you have to change it so much that it doesn't even like resemble the original source material, what's the point?
Yeah.
Just make something new.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but who knows? Everybody, I think a lot of entertainment companies are re-examining how they spend money these days.
Well, they fired that Amazon, that she was the head of Amazon for a long time. They fired her. So I don't know. Maybe they'll start making some changes.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. The new Mission Impossible trailer looked cool.
Oh my gosh. It looks insane.
Yeah. And I guess they're maybe promoting it as the last one. So
there's like a couple movies this year. Tron looks like it could be good.
Yeah, Tron looks cool.
There's an Alex Garland movie coming out called Warfare. Have you seen anything about that?
Warfare?
Yeah, it's based on a real battle that happened in Iraq, and the guy that directed it, I think, is a guy that was actually in Iraq. He was a co-director with Alex Garland. So it looks like it could be like a really good war movie.
Well, we're going to wrap it up here, I think. We rambled on for another hour, but hey, you like it. But we'll be there. I hear Matt again. Good grief. I hope he gets better soon. Anyway, we'll be back here pretty soon. We got lots more stuff to talk about. And so just keep watching your feed. And hey, look, this is the second episode in 2 weeks, so we are doing better. So come on back here soon. On? I don't know. But hey, keep coming back. Check your feed, and we'll see you next time.
You know you can't live without this content, so subscribe to the Hyperspace Podcasting in the 25th Century. Follow us on social media, leave us a review, and join us next time as we take you into the 25th century.